Let's dive into the world of tabletop gaming and painting with the Tippy cast. From rolling dice to mastering brushstrokes, we're here to fuel your passion. Join us for insights, inspiration, and endless creativity. I'm Chris.
And I'm Daz. So, Chris, what's on the table?
I managed to paint another two half tilt models, and I've got two more waiting to get started. The Surprise, and I forget which the other one is. I just randomly drew him out. I've got some of the old xenomorphs from the Produce Alien versus Predator.
Nice.
Um, I've had them for quite a while. I mean, you can't really get them anywhere at a reasonable price because it's out of production. And I finally got them painted, and I've got some spare Necromunda bases that I painted up, kind of like the Nostromo. So it's got like that white, nice kind of
Almost
spaceship
ceramic.
feel with, yes, very ceramic-y sort of look to it.
Nice.
And did like the little icons that it uses for different aspects of the ship. Free-handed them onto it, and I was using some of the ammo by Meg shaders. It's like really strong pigmented washes. They work best through the airbrush, but just like brushing it on as well, you can get some pretty cool effects, like really nice weathering. So I
Nice.
used Starship Filth just to dirty up a little bit of the venting on the bases. Yeah, I think it's turned out quite cool. So
Nice.
once I've got the aliens glossed, I'll get them on their bases. But what
Very
about
nice.
yourself?
Well, I did start painting a one of my half tilt figures, the Lord Gopher Fleetfoot. It's the I want to say the leader of the Craggy
Mm.
Bottom Goats team. I only say he's the leader because he's the highest renowned, jouster
Yeah,
in that box. And with a name like
yeah. It looks like
Lord,
you've got like your looks like you've got your team and then the superstar
hmm,
to go with them, and like as your seventh guy,
I
seventh
start
sixth guy,
sixth. Yeah, yeah,
your
six of them.
sixth guy.
Um, yeah, I started painting them, and then the kids started arguing, and then I wasn't really in a mindset to paint, and then got really tired, and then just didn't bother painting. Um, not really been in a
Sounds
painty
like a good
mood.
reason.
Yeah, not really been in a painty mood since. Been having some sort of stuff going in my life. Um, not really had the time, not really had the mentality to want to paint. Not really been in that sort of
Mm.
painting headspace. Um, I've been trying to like I keep getting to go and do it, and then I'm like, do you know what? I can't be bothered.
Yeah,
Um, so just kind of been, you know, just spending time with the kids as well because they've just finished school. Um, playing plenty of games, just not painting anything for them.
it's
Um,
different parts of a hobby, so
yeah, I mean, I'm still doing some hobby bits, which is safe to say that at least I'm doing something.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm afraid there's no more progress from what I was doing last time. I'm afraid, not,
Yeah.
I've not really been forcing myself to do anything. Just sort of
Mhm.
muddling on, honestly.
I got a bunch of bases painted following my tutorial. Another little plug there. I got them all ready for the base set of stuff. I also did the tilt. I've done. I wouldn't have had that done last episode.
Hmm.
So I've got the tilt ground done. I'm using the tilt itself from the old jousting grounds kit they did.
Okay,
So this one, it doesn't have that rail across the top of it, and the base of it doesn't have the fleur de lis on it.
oh, I see.
But I mean, it's still the same length. The bars on it are about an inch apart. I've just I haven't stuck the thing down just to make it a bit easier for storing.
Mm.
So just you can just back them on, and then when I've added the flock and the texture paint, I'd marked out where the tilt would sit. So I just avoided putting it on that, and it fits in perfect. So
Yeah, I mean,
it makes
with
it
our
nice.
tilt, we have enough storage space, so it wasn't like a storage issue for us. So we just glued it down. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so we've got quite a good storage. We use those sort of like plastic tote boxes that you get
Mm.
from like the factory shop, B&M.
Yeah, it's like the
Yeah,
really useful box kind of
yeah, you know
thing.
the sort of things. So it's we've
Yeah,
got them for like lots of things because they stack really nicely, and I think that's part of the reason why we got them. That's how we
yeah. I've
store our
got
tilt.
my Corner Valley and
Mm.
the Corner Valley models in them.
Yeah, really,
But
really useful boxes.
I think I need another one for the half tilt models. So
Yeah, we
I've
went.
got nowhere to put them.
We've gone pick and pluck foam trays for that
Hmm.
because they're all in like different poses and stuff. But
Yeah,
we just went
I was
pick and
looking.
pluck.
I was looking at getting a KR multi case for it because I use them for the Rumble Slam models. I've got two of them. One's for teams, one's for superstars because
Nice.
that's how many I've got. I could
Yeah,
justify a second box.
me and Dad, I tend to use my bag that I transport my minis in. Tabletop Tyrant. That's what we're
Mm.
using. Again, really nice bags. We haven't got like the hard case. It's like a nice solid sort of like almost like a laptop bag material.
Yeah.
Depending on which one you get, we've got one that's kind of about I'd say through two to three trays deep, depending on
Mm-hmm.
what trays you use. Because obviously with Rumble Slam, I use the bigger trays that they have for the weight threes, and then the weight twos will go in the other ones.
Yeah.
So that smaller bag that we've got can hold one of the weight three trays, and then two of the no, about three of the other trays. So it holds a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've
Yeah.
got
If you're carrying a couple of teams around, you can
mm,
easily contain. So.
and then for Carnival we've got two bigger bags, which again chocker. They're like I think about 5 or 6 trays deep. But they're
Mm-hmm.
really nice because they zip up. So if you imagine you've got the bag, obviously people listening to this aren't going to see what I'm doing. Imagine if you will. You got the bag sits on the table and it's got zips that you zip up from the top and it goes around the top and then down one side. So you can
Mm-hmm.
fold it open so it's just flat. So you can pull the trays out as well as just stacking them.
Mm-hmm.
They're really handy and they've got a nice little shoulder strap as well, and shoulder strap and nice little carry handles, and so that because they're not of any sort of dense material, they're incredibly light and very durable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's
But
good old
I've
tabletop
got
tyrant.
um, I've got two of the big KR multi case ones. I think it holds 4 layers like that. I keep my weight threes in, and it'll be 8 of the smaller spaced ones for teams.
Mm,
I tend to keep it like a team per tray, and then I've got like some of the auxiliary and a couple of superstars maybe, or like tag teams in there as well. Whatever I'm like looking forward to getting used most. But they're really light because they're just card case foam inserts.
yeah.
I've got a smaller version of it and one of the black material, that sort of laptop bag. I've had that one for years. I used to keep Necromundagang in that. Now I can't even remember what's in it. I think I've got Violent Dark and the Mantic Advent Calendar models in that. So a good selection. Oh, and I've got two of the old hard case Games Workshop boxes as well. They've seen us very well for a whole load of different stuff. There's
I used to have
Mars
one.
Attacks and Walking Dead at the minute.
Yeah, I used to have one of the older Citadel hard cases when I had my Space Orcs, but it got
Mhm.
sold when I sold my because obviously like I don't play 40k anymore. I've been GW clean for a while now. Um, yeah, I mean I sold it with my Space Orcs when I
Game as
sold it.
Anonymous.
Yeah, Wargamers Anonymous. I guess I've been hi, I'm Daz, and I've been GW clean now for 4 years.
You've got your 4 years badge for it.
Yeah, no, it was a good case. I mean, but they just don't make them like they used to. But
Yeah,
now,
we got the same ones. It's got the red foam in it. It's got like three layers of
yeah,
stuff, and then the top sheet. Yeah,
yeah,
I've got two of them.
yeah, I sold it along with my collection of Space Orcs. Funnily enough, to TT Combat, and
Mhm.
then it just sort of
Not bad.
funded Carnival and Rumble Slam. But yeah,
Uh, but I've knocked me off on a right tangent there.
yeah, we do that.
So completely away from my main topic,
Yeah,
which is family friendly gaming. I mean, we both got different sides that we come in on. Obviously, you having a family, I have like I'm an uncle, so like my side of like family friendly gaming is like, slightly skewed away from like the parent looking at the games
yeah.
sort of thing. So I think we can get some pretty cool game variation on that.
Oh, definitely. And I think it's safe to say as well, because what we mean sort of by more like by family friendly, we're not saying cutesy cuddly things, more like games that the non-hobbyist or non-tabletop gamer could sort of just rock up and play without any sort of major need, to understand the game. And the game rules are very simple, like
Mm.
almost almost like a family game night sort of game that you could just sort of rock up, start playing, and be done.
Yeah, I think like in the very first episode we did the pilot, uh, we were talking about kind of what got us into to games and things like. Was that the first episode? I think it was.
Yes, yeah, I think so.
No,
Yeah,
maybe in episode two where it started. Um, it was one of the first few episodes anyway. But like when I was a kid and stuff, me, two brothers, my parents who would play board games and stuff. Like one of my brothers had Atmosphere, the VHS controlled board game would like come on every now and then with things that like impact the game, which was pretty cool. And then like friendly things like storyboards, which we still have and occasionally play with some of my nephews, where it's Disney films broken down into cards for like key moments, and yeah, like you're spinning a thing, you're trying to like fill up the storyboard, and it's just a really nice, easy game. And so like I think more people find time to play board games with kids. It's just it's nice bonding, isn't it? It's just a
it
fun,
is. It
it's
really is.
something a bit different. No screens, just a board. So
Yeah, I think it's a lot more involved as well, and I think it is. Yeah, instead of everyone just staring at a screen, it is nice to sort of get away from that. Um, I mean, one of the games that we play quite a lot with me and my kids, my mum and dad, my nieces and nephews, because I've got four, I've got three nephews and a niece, but one of my nephews is like two, so we'll count him out of
mm,
this equation. But my nieces and my nephews are all at an age where they can sort of understand rules and read and stuff like that. But a game
yeah.
that we play quite a lot is Wacky Races. Obviously, the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon come to life in a board game. And obviously, it has the figures, the original sort of 10 racers, although nobody plays as Dick Dastardly, which is a shame,
Yeah,
but it's a part of the game
that's just
mechanics.
that's just to stop everyone arguing over who gets
Oh,
to play as
100,
them.
definitely. Um, and the good thing about the way that game works is no dice. Um, and it's all done by cards. So there's card tiles that go down when you make the racetrack. So you have the start line. Um, so you have the start line, then you have like different color card tiles, and then there's like a special, like a halfway tile, and then there's a special tile somewhere throughout the game,
Mhm.
and then the finish tile. So these tiles, there's four kinds. There's a swamp, prairie, desert, and forest.
Mhm.
So they'll all have like different colors and different pictures on them. And then what happens is you're each given three cards that you keep drawing from the deck and discarding, drawing and discarding, drawing and discarding as you're playing them. And if you have a card that corresponds to the tile in the road, I say with inverted commas, that's how far you'll move.
Mhm.
So if you've got like a desert tile in front of you, then in front of that, next to that is a forest and then a prairie. If you've got all three of those cards, you can play them in order, and then that's how far you'll move. So you'll move three spaces in sense.
Mhm.
But each character is what this is the bit that makes it quite a fun, real fun game. Is each character has a special card that you have, which will explain like a little bit of fluff on them, give a bit of a design on the car. But you get given each character has four little cards that they can play like a special move that's specific
Mhm.
to the character, and these can be either move this character to this next available terrain card, or skip a certain amount of things, and then yeah, so it does those sort of things. Now the way Dick Dastardly works is once everyone's taken their turn, Dick Dastardly will then you flip the discard pile first top of the card on that over, and Dick Dastardly will go to that next card, where
Mhm.
next one to him. And if he ends up in front of everybody else, like in front of all of the characters, he lays a trap and then goes to the back of the last character.
Mhm.
Um, so basically, and then whoever gets onto that terrain piece sets off the trap, whatever it is. I think there's like 3, 4 different traps, and they'll all do
Mhm.
different things. But
Loads of dynamite under the road.
yeah, so those
A
sort of
big
things,
boulder.
oil slicks, broken bridges, those sort of things. Um, that'll do different things. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you, but so that's how Dick Dastardly works.
Mhm.
What's cool as well is obviously you can have a maximum of 9. No, you have a maximum of 6 players can play at any given time. Obviously, there's all
Mhm.
9 characters in the box. Just as a case in point of how much I love Wacky Races, I reckon I could go through all 9 of them. So, and
But
I'm not.
character and vehicle.
So I'm going to try and do it in order as well. So I'm going to go. Okay,
I'm gonna bring the list up.
yeah, I can guarantee. You have to trust me in this. I'm not cheating. Right, you ready?
Okay.
Right. The Slag Brothers in the
Mhm.
Boulder Mobile, number
Yep.
1. The creepy coupe, number 2, by the gruesome twosome.
Yep.
Number 3 is was it Doctor Fantastic and his auto change mobile.
Uh, oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is he on this list? Professor Pat Pending
Oh, that was it. Professor Pat Pending and the auto
in the
changeable vehicle.
converter car.
And obviously, sorry,
The converter car.
Dick Dastardly in the it was 00.
Yeah.
In the
This
Mean
car.
Machine.
Yep.
The Crimson Hay Baler. And fuck, what was it? Sorry, excuse me. What was his name? Crimson Hay Baler. It's a red plane. Oh, Red Max. Red Max was the driver.
Yep.
The Compact Pussycat by Penelope Pitstop.
Yep.
The Army Surplus
Number
Special.
5.
Number 6, Army Surplus Special, driven by Sergeant Blast and Private Meekley.
Yep.
My favourite, this is my personal favourite one, the Bulletproof Bomb, driven by the Anthill Mob. They were always my favourite one.
Yeah, gotta love them.
The Arkansas Chugabug by Luke and Blubber Bear. That was my mum's favourite one. Luke, that's my mum always plays as. My
Lazy
dad,
Luke and blah blah blah.
my dad always plays as the Army Surplus Special, just because he likes World War II stuff. Then you had the Turbo Terrific, written by Peter Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter's favourite one is the Buzzwagon with Rufus Roughcut and Sawtooth. That's her favourite one.
Yeah, number 10.
Number 10. And that was it. And obviously the Mean Machine.
Yeah.
I still got it. I still know. I still know. I obviously got Dr. Pat Pending wrong, but I think other than that, I should still, 9 out of 10 ain't bad.
Yeah, you got the rest.
Not the rest. Just that one.
I dare anyone else to get them all right
In order.
in order.
That's my mastermind specialist subject. Such and such specialist subject, wacky races. But yeah, so the great thing about it,
I always said mine was Jasper Carrot, and I know nothing about Jasper Carrot.
But yes, it's a great little game that we play, and you can smash through like a game, I'd say, in probably about half hour. But then what you do is you play, because you shuffle the cards, and you can just keep making races, and then just have a leaderboard of who's winning the most races, and it's like you could almost do like a season.
Grand Prix.
Yeah, and it's great. But yeah, it's really easy for a kid to understand. There's no need for dice. Dice don't get lost. It's colourful, it's wacky, it's funny. Like, the game changes so frequently. It is just unbelievable. Like, and the replayability is amazing. Also, coincidentally, it also works really well for solo play, because any characters that aren't being used, because you have to have 6 races on the board. All of the non-controlled characters have their own set of rules to work. So that's just sort of one family game that we like to play quite a lot.
There was a game that I played my oldest brother and his 2 boys called Planet.
Nice.
And with that one, you've got this. It's not a sphere. It's some kind of mad shape. I forget what, but it's got like little magnets on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're taking tiles to add to your magnetic planet, and you want to create combinations of different biomes. And like each round, there's a new set of animals that'll come into play.
Okay.
So you try and they've each got a specific way of obviously living. Like, you're not going to have a fish on a planet that's all land. So you're kind of trying to look at what's coming up, because it shows all of the future ones as well, and you're thinking, how is it going to go? Because once you put the piece onto the planet, you can't turn it anymore.
Oh, okay.
So you need to put it in the orientation that it's going to stay.
Okay.
And some animals that you might have like a a big chunk of Arctic, and you might have like a penguin where they want Arctic and water. So you want to like, kind of be wary of that. You'll want a piece of water to put on the side of that, so you can get the penguins if another player hasn't took them, and you just kind of building it through that. So there's like a lot of like future planning that goes into it, and it's just a fun little game. Your points are like scored based on the animals. It Yeah, there's no dice. You just draw the tiles up, and I created a planet that had different sized cats on it, and some fish because they've got to eat. And I was basically just going for which animal looked cute at, and if it was a cat. So, and I won.
Yeah, I've just had a
Yeah.
look at it, and it looks really cool. I see what you mean about the weird shape. Yeah, it's almost
Mm-hmm.
um
It's like a
like a
weird
three.
poly.
Yeah, like I'd say, so if it's five-sided dice, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a almost like I think it's like a D12 sort of size. Must be like a D12 size shape.
What would it be? One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7,
Oh no, it'd be a D
8.
D8. Either way, I know it's like a pen, like a three-dimensional pentagon.
Yeah, it's like a 11 or 12 sided thing. Something mad. But yeah, it's for up to 4 players, and really easy to pick up and play. I basically got told what the rules were, and that was it. You go through there, and there's on like low leveled ones like the early rounds. There's one or two creatures that you'll be choosing from, and then
Okay.
as you get towards the top, then you've got like three that'll be coming into play each time. But by then you'll have a lot of different biomes to do it, so that you start racking up points as you're going through that. And that's about 30 minutes playing, 2 to 4 players, and it says 8 now.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I've just had a look at it on
Planet
Zatu.
by Blue Orange.
Yeah, I just had a look at it on Zatu Games, and it does look like a good crack. I might have to look at getting that. See,
Like
this
I
is
say, it's just a fun little game, and
hmm.
the art of the animal cards is like really nice, and the biomes are very clear what
Yeah,
you've got on there, and it's very obvious how things link up because you've got like the tiles are a 5 sided thing, and the line up just like side to side, really easy to see and keep track of. Well, not quite because you'll forget what's on the other side, but
but no, it
no,
does look like a really nice
it's good.
little game. Definitely, might definitely gonna have to look at that and look again into that. It might be one of those things that it might have to wait until the next Games Expo, but I'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think for me, I think another sort of family friendly game, if you want to call it like that. It's sort of that mix between, again, we've spoke about this before, and it's what we'll politely refer to as a miniatures board game. I think is the best way
Mm-hmm.
of explaining that. And it is Hero Quest.
Yeah.
I always remember playing that from quite a young age, almost like my indoctrination to miniature get wargaming as a whole. Again, I know I
Mm-hmm.
spoke about it in a previous episode, um, but again, it's one of those games that if played in, I say correctly, there's no correct way or wrong way to play it. But if it can encourage teamwork, um, sort of being a bit more daring at times. But the rules set on it are really simple. It's again, here's your character card, here's what the character does. That's it. It's all gridded out, so it's not like there's any
Mm-hmm.
measuring. And again, once you sort of get and you know the enemies that arrive in that game aren't particularly tough. Like you can probably take them out with one or two, one good dice roll. You could just take them out.
Yeah.
It's only when you start getting multiple enemies at a time where you start having to think about, okay, who am I going to take out now?
Yeah, the
Um,
action economy, where if you've got more swords swinging at you than you're swinging out, you're going to take a hit eventually.
yeah, and it was always. I always remember having a lot of fun with that with my dad. My mum used to play. My sister occasionally played, and it's a game that I can't wait to sort of play with my kids and my nephews and my nieces, or my nephew or my niece, you know, and them playing it and then sort of experiencing it that way, and then them, really enjoying it. And I mean, it helps as well that my dad and my mum painted all of the figures that are in that box, what come with that,
Mm.
which brings it more to life. I find it's the same reason why I have why my Cluedo set that I have has got painted characters. I feel it does add an extra level of immersion to it, but yeah, it's just such a fun little game. And I'm hoping to add to it with some of the add-ons that have recently been re-released.
Yeah,
Like extra characters, things like that. And there's still, I'd say, a massive amount of people playing it. And I saw when I was last at the expo, I saw there was MB Games, which is the people who still currently own Hero Quest.
yeah.
The,
Because
the
the models, they're all new models, very much the old style, like very recognizable what's what. But it's not Games Workshop that do this current run of them like it was the
no,
original.
obviously their poses have changed a little bit and they're a little bit more dynamic. That's just the name of the
Mm.
game. But it
Yeah,
was
that's just how
really,
technology's changed for making models, isn't it?
but it was really nice to see a lot of people playing it and younger people at that. And I do, and because my daughter's sort of just starting to get into sort of all this sort of fantasy stuff.
Mm.
We've just finished watching the Hobbit trilogy, and then now she wants to watch Lord of the Rings. So she's really getting into that sort of fantasy thing.
Mm.
So I think she's going to really enjoy playing Hero Quest when we get down to it. And I think my niece and my nephews will as well. And it'll almost be like when my dad did it with me and my cousins, and it's going to sort of feel like that, which is going to be really nice. But
Mm.
yeah, it's a very I'd say family friendly. You've kind of got to be into the sort of fantasy esque stuff, but even
Yeah,
if you're not, it's still just a good fun game as a board game. Almost like a board game. There's a
bless you.
Thank you. That came out of nowhere. It is still just a really fun, family friendly, fun game. It's not rules heavy. Like a lot of miniatures games are, and even miniature board
Mm.
games, if you want to call them that. Some of them can be quite rules heavy.
Yeah, and it's a nice step in doing things like D&D and stuff as
Mm.
well, where Hero Quest a lot more structured, but it still has that dungeon master playing as the villain, and it's a very slippery slope from going to hit from Hero Quest to D&D.
Yeah, I mean, also because when you think about it, Space Hulk is almost the same concept,
Yeah,
just with in space
it's just Hero Quest
with
with
Space
guns.
Marines. Yeah, Career Request with Space Marines. Um,
It's just Elder Scrolls with guns. Fallout. There's my obligatory Fallout reference.
but God, that's only a matter of time before that's a board game, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it already is. You've got the miniatures game, you've got the board game, you've got the
That's what I
tabletop
mean.
game, like tabletop RPG.
That's what I mean.
Gale Force 9 did did it. The Fallout game, and then they did a California Republic expansion. I think they've just brought another one out that expands on both the main game and California. So It's like a tertiary thing
Yeah.
you can add into it.
But I think family friendly gaming, yeah, it's just I mean, obviously I'm in my 30s now. My mum and dad are in my dad's just turned 50. He's and it's still nice to sort of play a game now and then with the family.
Hmm.
And especially now the kids are getting to an age where they'll have that attention span to sit and play a board game
Yeah,
is nice.
I've played Rumble Slam with my mum and dad.
Yeah, so my nephews and my daughter really like that. So I mean that's another family. I mean that one's a little bit more. The rules are a little bit more comprehensive, but it's
Mm,
still family friendly enough.
yeah. One that like my second game is Bank Attack. It's for up to four players, and there's different difficulties in it. And it's an electronic game. You've got the bank vault itself. You load it up with the gold, put the notes into it, and it'll ask you how many people are playing. So you press the buttons to say how many people, and then it tells you like press the button for this character, this character, this character, this character. You've got like different aspects of the heisting crew. So you've got like the mastermind, the tech guy, the demolitions expert, stuff like that. And then there's items. Like you just get little tokens to pass between the players as it tells you to do it. And you've got to keep track of who's got what item because it might be the same thing like the night vision goggles getting passed between three people, I think for a couple of turns, and then it'll tell you whoever has the goggles press the button, and you might think you've still got it because it's just been going back and forwards constantly, but someone else has it, and you've got to hope that they've pressed the button before you. And it's just like a really snappy game on it. And as the rounds move on, the vault door starts to open up a little bit,
Oh, okay.
and then some like notes will come out to go towards your scoring, and then at the final round, if you succeed, the vault door just opens up, all the gold bars fall out, and it's like, yes, you've done the heist. And I mean, there's nothing better than a good heist. I love Payday. I love. I've got Burgle Brothers from Fowers Games, where you're doing a heist. Um, I've just started getting into the show on Netflix, Money Heist. Just love heisting. Heat.
What's that?
So
Yeah, the
good.
game. So it's like Fugitive Games. I think because remember you painted some figures for some. They were like little crazy cartoon characters.
Yes, that's for the Burgle Brothers and Fugitive.
Yes, I mean they
Uh, yeah, Fugitive.
yeah. I mean, say it's a fun little game. Now this is complicated because me and Chris prior to recording we sort of discussed whether this should be here or whether it should be in new and shiny, but because it doesn't really fit in either place. Um, so there's a game that TT Combat now own that was called Home Raiders. Now, the reason why it's not in new and shiny is because although they only slightly teased that they were doing it at the advent calendar at Christmas, they only just done some like preliminary drawings of it. Um, they did initially sell some stock that they had from Vesperon Games, who they bought it off. Home Raiders is again a very simple, very very child friendly tabletop mini game, but the terrain was your house, like bookshelves, your coffee table with stuff on it. Like that was the terrain. And
It
obviously
does sound
it's
like a really fun idea for a game.
yeah.
That.
Whereas like you just need the minis and some dice. Um, the reason why it's what I'm sort of doing it here because I'm hoping I can segue it into new and shiny because again they've bought the rights to the game, they have the rules for the game, and they're going to make new figures for the game. If you go on TT Combat's site, you can see some of the old figures that Vesperon used to sell. But to set it like this, Home Raiders is a 1-to-1 scale miniatures game. The figures are all 1-to-1 scale with whatever they're meant to represent. There's like little gremlins, some like penguins. There's a faction called the New Lilliput Republic.
So I love the Lords of Dust,
Yes,
the
Egyptian
penguins that
Egyptian
are
penguins.
Egyptian.
Because
So
why
good.
not? And yeah, the terrain that you play on is just bits around your house, and that's it. Because they're trying to take new areas for their kingdoms, and they've invaded our world. But obviously, they don't realize like how big we are. So all these miniatures, what I always found funny was the miniatures they're not miniature representations of something else. They are 1-to-1 scale with what they represent, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, like I say, I think that's a really good idea for a game. It's just the models are that like the models aren't like miniatures; they
No,
are full size. That's just the size they are.
and what I like about that is again, I've watched the old Vesperon games and I've read the rules. It's not rules heavy at all. It's very much again, here's a character, here's what they can do, here's some dice, that's it.
Mhm.
Like there's no oh, I've got a +4 armor save against energy weapons. Okay, like
I have an invulnerability save that can't be modified,
yeah, it's got none of that,
and I'm wearing armor.
and it's got none of that. It's none of that. Hardcore rules heavy. You need to have like a degree in maths to get any damage to apply. Um, and the low model counts, and I think it's going to be really perfect for like maybe trying to get kids or at least younger war gamers. I'd say probably anywhere like 6 and up.
Hmm. And
Six
it's
and
a
up.
low barrier to entry as well because
Exactly.
it's just some models. You don't
Yeah,
need to spend hours putting scenery together and painting it and
because that's your house is the scenery, and you can play it anywhere. Just play it anywhere, and I think that would be good as well for kids, especially kids who might just struggle just sort of like sitting at a table, trying to get them to focus on something when you could just be playing on the floor with them, right?
Mhm.
And I think that is when it comes out again when TT Combat have sort of started doing that again. Um, I think it's going to be a real winner.
Mhm.
Um, it's going to be a real good winner with parents trying to get their kids into like miniature gaming and even to the say even the younger war gamer. I think it's going to be a really nice little thing. Um,
And it'll bring back the egg cartons and tin cans as
yep,
scenery.
old school scenery, mate. Stacked books. Coffee mugs, things that are. It's going to be great. And I think with that, I'm going to sort of gently segue that into new and shiny. In that, you know, this is Home Raiders is kind of that halfway between that it kind of already exists, but the models aren't easy to come by. Like you're going to have to dig deep to find these.
Mm-hmm.
eBay probably the only place you may find them.
Yeah.
Because obviously TT Combat don't sell them anymore, but they will at some point bring it back into production. That's why it's not gone into new and shiny, because there's nothing been officially confirmed as to when. So we'd
If I
kind of
could put
just,
out a disgusting speculation,
yeah.
when they bring back uh, Home Raiders, event exclusive redone versions of the Vesperon models, but in resin. Because I'm assuming they're in metal, like
Yes.
the old Carnivale ones.
Yeah, yeah.
So what? Because what TT Combat have done with Carnivale is like event exclusives. The old model designs redone in resin. So there's the flame that burns underwater,
Which I don't mind that
and
one.
the Morgrow, and the oh, which one was it? It's one of the Rashar. It's the bigger Rashar
Oh,
monster.
yes, the Radru, the old school Radru.
Rajru, that's the one.
Now,
Got
I
them all.
yeah, I don't like the Vesperon version of the Morgrower. I don't like it.
Mm,
I prefer the Snake version that they
yeah,
did. I prefer that.
I still need to get my like Vesperon version painted, but like don't I don't like it for Carnivale, but I think the model is fantastic. It would be really good if you were doing like an Eldritch horror RPG.
Mm.
That would be a fantastic model for that. I mean, all
Yeah.
of the Rashar models would be perfect for that. But I love the Sea Serpent
Mm.
Morgrow.
That is my preferred
That's
one.
awesome. And the flame that burns underwater, I think the TT Combat version is a better model as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like both because
Mhm.
we've got me and Dad have got both as well, and I like the old one for certain reasons, and I like the new one for other reasons. The new one, I think, it's a lot more dynamic. It's a lot
Easier to
more.
build.
It's a easier, better build. But the older one,
I
I
like the
feel,
Kating on it. They did really good Kating.
the old what, the original sculpt, flame that burns
Mm-hmm.
underwater, does have a certain level of gravitas to it in the sense that it's still a very impressive model, and
Yeah,
it's got that sort of classicness to it, which I quite like. But no, that old style Morgrow, I'm not a fan. But I do
I
like the
think
Miraju.
I I think the Vespron style ones and the TT Combat ones, they've got very different design philosophies behind them,
Mm,
which is like where the 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 Rajru doesn't doesn't match the style of the TT Combat ones, where the models are a bit like a bit chunkier. The very like between the lesser Ugdru and the Radru, there's still that kind of similarity between them.
yeah,
Whereas the Vesperon one, it's a bit more like gangly limbed. It's more like the scales are very prominent on the sculpt, and there's like it's kind of like more of a gritty realism version of that character
yeah.
than anything. But I mean, still looks great on the table. I
Oh,
love
it
it.
does still look good on the table. I mean,
It's got a much more horrific mouth, like horrific face to it than the TT Combat ones do.
oh, very much so. It's terrifying in a very different reason.
Yeah.
But while we're on the subject of Carnivale and TT Combat, I really excited for the new models that they've teased, the ones with the diving suits,
Mm-hmm.
and the mermaid. Well, it's a Sirena, really. Um, let's change sides for the doctors, and Christ, what the Richard stuff as well. For the life of me, I can't remember what it was. You have to
I
look now.
think did, were they the ones we mentioned last week?
May well have been. But yeah, it's
Not last week. Last episode.
yeah. I think they've because now they're coming out when this goes out. I believe it would have been the Friday before this comes out that they go to sale. So
Yes, for us.
for us tomorrow,
For us, it'll be tomorrow. So the 26th.
so they're going to go out then. And I've always had a soft spot for diving seats and things like that, and it's nice to see that the doctors are going to start getting wet, you know, rather than just sending an animal in to do it. Um,
Makes them want to get in amongst the Rashar.
but yeah, it's been a long time coming, and it's really interesting
But,
seeing where Carnival's going with this. Um, for all of those listening who do like Carnival and were under the impression that a Rialto bridge model was coming, um, it's not anymore. Um,
oh,
reason being is I know the reason why. The guy who
because it's
designed
just so goddamn big.
that and the guy who designed it no longer works for TT Combat. And from a costing point of view, they weren't able to put it into perspective. It would fit on a 2x4 board. It would be
Yeah, it was going to be a board in itself.
yeah, it would be its own game board by a 2x4, and they were
It was
just
like
not able.
150, 200 quid.
And the rest, because it was just a costing thing and cutting it.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to him and he goes, even if we could do it, right? It's then shipping it to someone.
Yeah,
Because
that'll be a lot of weight to it.
exactly, and that was part of the issue. And it was they just like it's one thing. Annoyingly, is the big thing in Carnival is the Rialto Bridge, and we just can't do it at the minute. And there's still been discussions and talks about it, and me and Dad have thrown out a couple of ideas to them about how they could probably maybe bring the cost of it down. One of my ideas that I came up with was you don't you sell the kit, but like the framework of it, like the frame of it. So you don't need like big solid wall pieces to cover the walls. The way you would do it is almost you would provide a frame with the sheet
And then grey board it.
and then either grey board or plasticard. They would give out that to come with it, and it would go bomb 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 bomb. One, it reduces the weight. Two, it reduces the amount of laser cut MDF that you'd need, but again, it's still going to be a lot.
Yeah.
And that wherein lies a lot of the problem.
The pictures where they were first like teasing it and doing like the test builds and stuff. What a beautiful game that would have been.
Oh, it would have been like even I always said like even if they could just do one, like one just make one, just so they can just take the shows. Yeah. And I think that would just be what a piece to take.
But I mean, there was a thing that Mantic Games did with the terrain shooter from YouTube, where he did the White House, and it was getting like destroyed by the Martians from Mars Attacks, and they took that to a bunch of shows, and that was just like a build for that. I mean, I know making it out of laser cut MDF is going to be a lot more. There's a lot more hours and money that would go into doing it, and you kind of want to see a return of your investment. But like, people need to see it. It's such a lovely kit.
Because it also begs the question, because they did the diorama for Strike Team at the expo.
Yeah. Oh, that was incredible.
I mean, you only saw pictures, mate. The being in its presence is, I can't even begin to explain the majesty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but even if they did something like that for Carnival, just having some sort of diorama just with it
Mm-hmm.
would be nice.
Yeah.
But I do
Get
understand
it in
what
the
I just
Bromley shop.
yeah, I mean I understand why they couldn't build it, and it's they were very honest about it. They're like, look, it's just we wouldn't be
It's
it
not
would
feasible.
it's just not financially feasible because it would cost a lot of money, and especially it's a lot of money to ask for what is realistically one game board, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it would be. It would be a one trick pony game board. It's okay, here's the Rialto Bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, great, we've done this before, and it's very much a yes, well, I've just spent £200 on scenery, we're going to use it a lot.
Yeah. It's like a game shop will it'll be like the only one that'll really be able to store it because
Yeah,
it's a it's a full bridge that you're getting.
what a piece.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
I'm
just
gonna have
thought
to
I'd
have a
throw
look
that
at
out
some
there and
pictures
mention
of
that.
it
I might
again.
I might
No,
sort of
I didn't
hustle
realize
them.
it had been.
No, it'd been
I
properly
didn't
shelved.
realize they were mothballing
Yeah,
it.
it's just one of those things. Like they just feasibly can't do it right now. Like there's so many reasons why it could be one thing that maybe get that something might happen later on, and they might be like, oh, well, actually, and then someone probably comes up with an idea, and they're like, that's actually really clever, and then that works out. But I think until that point, nothing. It's just nothing's going to be done with
Yeah,
it. Um,
that's a shame.
it is a shame. I'm going to try and keep pressuring them to see if they can at least build one to demo games on
Just that. Yeah, that would be really
to
cool.
take to take to shows. But we'll see. We will see.
Some new stuff that is coming.
It's coming. Yeah.
Um,
Sorry. Yeah. Got off topic a bit there again.
for Diamond Oasis in Rumble Slam.
Yeah.
The best casino. Let's be honest. Uh, you've got. I was practicing how to say this. Nethesis. 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 That's
Nethesis.
the one. A brand new superstar. She's got wings. She does healing. So I'm expecting either some high range turnbuckle attacks, possibly something similar to
Gable.
what you call Gabe. That's the one.
Yeah.
Where you can get between different turnbuckles,
Yeah.
or rope abilities with the jump rule, similar to the halflings.
Also, might be
From
reminiscent of
they
the
call it.
pterodactyl bat as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be reminiscent
Uh,
of that as
just
well.
just somewhat where it's like even if she's not doing high flying, she's still able to ignore models that are in front of her.
Mm.
So I think that would be pretty cool. Also, there is I think it's Minerva, where she can just move over people. She's the vampire
Yes.
superstar from the keep.
Yeah, I think she's got that as
Where
well.
she can her movements just unimpeded by it as long as she doesn't end her movement on someone like on a space that's occupied. So possibly something like that I could see happening because again, the cards haven't been released. They'll be going like they'll be on the website tomorrow as we're recording this. So there's a
Yes.
lot of speculation for different bits what haven't been revealed. Sticking with Diamond Oasis, we have Emotep,
Emotep. Yeah.
and he's a superstar. And TT Combat are loving the emo characters. I'm guessing it's going to be more based on the Imhotep from the Mummy rather than the High Priest of Ra from history. Just judging by the big elongated jaw.
Yep.
So they've not really said anything when they've been teasing him about what he could be about. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. And uh, there's that mysterious creature that's been in the backgrounds of a couple of shots out of focus. That it's that weird one where it looks kind of like it's caught up in like a dust storm or a sandstorm.
Mm.
So they've not said that, but if it's Diamond Oasis and they're releasing some Diamond Oasis stuff, it makes sense that it would come out then as well. Along with the new team that's got the two Scarabs, the Shabti, the Canopic Jaw stand, and that I'm guessing whatever that thing is like a crazy Gorgon, like a mummy Gorgon.
Yeah, they haven't. When I was talking to them about it, there isn't really. They've not really given a lot away about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I
That's
think.
another one where it's always in the background of stuff
Mm,
and it's never quite in focus.
I mean, I've seen the model was at the expo. I've handled
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah, it's obviously the weight three, but how it's going to play, what it's called, I don't know. Um,
Yeah, there's. I
yeah.
think the only things we've seen there's the Roland Scarab.
Mm,
There's the Scarab that's like stood up on its back legs and kind of flexing, and there was one Shabdi that they showed on the picture with Toxic.
yeah.
And then the Canopic Jaws thing that's been like to the side in a couple of pictures,
Which
but
I think
never
that's very
anything
much going to
that's
play
like there.
like the incense burner for 1001
Yeah,
Fights. I think it's going to sort of play along those lines.
and all I'm gonna say is the very first time we saw that thing, you saw one of the Canopic Jaws, and I suggested that they do a bunch of different Canopic Jaws because all you could see was you could only see one character on like one the head of the Jaws. I'd suggested do a bunch of different ones, and you can only bring in one for your team, and it's like one of those kind of like the Catswall burners where it takes up part of your team, but it isn't technically a wrestler
Yeah.
because it's an inanimate object. And each of the like depending on which jaw you have has a different buff. I mean, obviously they already had this model in the rules going before I suggested that, but I'm taking that as a win.
I mean, it's very well. It's probably going to play that sort of way that you might take a certain canoptic jar,
Yeah,
but we'll see how that plays out. But again, they look like great models, great minis.
yeah.
Um, I quite like those little scarab beetles. I think they're quite funny.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, I think there's going to be some disgusting speculation that I reckon those two scarab beetles going to be very rope ability based. I reckon,
Mm-hmm.
um, just because one is rolling, and I thought,
Yeah.
we'll see how that one plays out, or
The other
maybe the
one will
weight
be your
three.
grappler.
Oh,
You'll that'll be your grappler. Then you've got your brawler.
definitely,
So
definitely.
especially since he's just there flexing, he's just showing off that he can get a good grip on you.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, again, oh, um, did we talk about Black Site Studios? This is not a test. Um,
Last time we
we
did,
did,
yeah.
yeah. That's fine, just because I think they've brought out a couple new minis for that.
Mm,
Update on my Kickstarter. Apparently, my Dungeon Cart Kickstarter is soon to be shipped.
nice.
So I'll do a nice little review of that. I won't do an unboxing. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't have YouTube privileges and channels, and I might, but still.
If you record one, I'll stick it up. Just send us it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. If you ever see a Tippy club with a black cat, that'd be me. But yeah, so I'm quite looking forward to that. It's almost like a Mario Kart esque board game, but you're playing as the bad guys, Penelo's like bad guys rather than like hero characters, and I'm quite looking forward to how that plays. Um, so hopefully that'll come out. That'll be coming any time soon. Um,
I'm still waiting on the Metal Gear Solid game. So we'll see when that happens.
also,
Um,
also, there's not a lot. I spoke about this before. That ice hockey game, Slapshot Showdown, again, still hasn't come to Kickstarter, but they have now released some models, and they are
nice.
producing some models that you can buy. Um, if you like ice hockey and you like a fantasy sort of ice hockey game, have a look. I can't guarantee right now whether they're going to be coming to the UK, but they have assured me that they will do STL files if they don't want to, if they can't ship worldwide,
Mm,
which I suppose is okay. But again, you'll need a 3D printer.
just yeah, it's a shame. Good
But
if you got access to a 3D printer. I don't.
not so good if you don't.
I got some more bases from War Bases. I've bought from them before. This is my second order with them. They're based up in I think it's Fife in Scotland, and they do some pretty cool like World War stuff. You might be interested in some of it does for bolt action and things.
Mm.
It's some like little MDF bits and some nice vehicles that you can get with it. Do like some World War One, World War Two stuff. Um,
I'll
they
definitely have a
also
look.
do square acrylic bases because for some reason TT Combat don't have square acrylic bases on their website. They've still got the circular ones. So if the spot on, I mean the angles of the curves on the outside aren't quite matched to the TT Combat one. So if you're a purist, then maybe it's not. But as far as I'm concerned, they're perfect. For if you want to replace any round bases from the old Rumble Slam, it doesn't really bother me. But I know some people don't like having the two different bases. For me, I've got them for the crowd models and a bunch of the halflings that I've got to go into the crowds, so they can all just sit on clear bases, so I can see my hard work on the stands because
Nice.
I've painted them. I want to see them, and yes, I've got some 25 mil. I've got the 50 mil bases as well. Just so I don't have to use the MDF ones that came with the half tilt crowd models.
Yeah, I mean, we've already put ours on the MDF thing, but he's going to paint them to look like on the stands. But I'm very likely going to
Mm.
use them for, because obviously when I do Rumble Slam demos at the events, I take my stadium
The the
in the ring.
Gamora Stadium.
So we're probably going to take some crowds just to fill that out,
Yeah.
which would be nice. I mean, other than that, there's not really been a lot out there recently that sort of caught me eye, if I'm honest.
Nah.
Um, and it's a bit of a slow.
Oh, there's been some new stuff for the Fallout Wasteland Warfare game. The Cult of the Mothman. So I can finally get me some Mothman models, and then there's the cultists to round out the faction as well. A couple of different styles of cultist. They're all from Fallout 76.
Nice. I mean, I would
I
say
love the Mothman.
there's not really been anything out there really that's massively caught me eye. I'm hopefully actually saying about that. I'm hopefully going to be getting the Don't Look Back new core rulebook, and I'm going to get a
Mm.
couple of expansions because I've got a guy who I know who lives in the States, so it might be a little bit easier for me getting them over than having to pay
Mm.
the exorbitant shipping charges that they normally put on.
I'm gonna have another look. Spectre, see if they've updated their their stuff. Core book stuff sold out. The new sculpts of the heroes and the killer are in stock. And this is not a test. Core rulebook and bonus mini. It's the woman on the front cover with the micro Uzi and the machete. That is in stock.
See, I might get the new Survivors.
Himetsu's in stock as well. They're the core rulebook.
Yeah, I might get the new Survivors pack because obviously it's got more characters in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously it's got the fella in a wheelchair, some punk, and something else. So I might pick that up if it's at a good price.
Yeah, the kid in the wheelchair and the punk. They're the two new characters they brought in on this second edition.
Mm.
And then you've got like new sculpts of all the original characters as well, and they are really nice sculpts.
Very much so.
The modeling has come a long way.
Yeah, I mean, I've also seen that they've done resculpts of Death on the Line, and a couple of the other. I think
They are reprints in the new style. I think there might be a new version, basically they're a sequel to Death on the Line, maybe. But yeah, they've been releasing reprints in the new style for previous expansions, like Dark Hearts, and there's one with like a sea monster and like a fish, like a captain. They are reprints.
Yeah, I mean they look really good. So I mean I'm gonna try and get hold of a couple of those. Just sort of fill out my collection a little bit more because I want to have I like having the VHS tapes. I just love that aspect of it.
Mm.
It's
I
just
still don't have the room for them, for the tapes anyway.
I'll make the room just because I think they look cool as hell. But yeah, I mean other than that, I mean there's not really anything that's been taking my fancy out there in the modeling world.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's because I'm not really been looking, but I'm sort of trying to almost narrow my vision into sort of like certain games that I'm trying to sort of play a lot of.
Yeah.
You know, speaking because obviously over the last time we were speaking about like pain and paralysis and the pile of opportunity. Trying to sort of bring that down a little bit, get that a bit more under control.
I think the Diamond Oasis stuff I'll order, but from then I need to reduce my pile a little bit more before I start buying more. So that's a shame. But Diamond Oasis, they're a special case.
Thanks for joining us on the Tippy Cast, and if you're listening on Spotify, be sure to follow us.
And if you listen to us on YouTube, why not drop us a like and subscribe? And weigh in with your thoughts on what we've mentioned, missed, or something for us to look at for the next episode in the comments below.
And it's a goodbye from him.
And it's a goodbye from me.